Okay,
Yeah.
cool. We're coming to the final panel, which is this time 1-1. So I'm having a fireside side chat with Stefan from Enerparc, and we're just, I think we covered so many topics during the event. So I think,
What a content,
uh,
no? So, I mean, Michael, these are, I mean, it's great information, great content, and really a lot of, I would say, also for me, new things. We both are partly dinosaurs, so let's say, and we have to learn that we adapt ourselves permanently, even if we don't like this or don't like this. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You have to see what's going on in the market, and to be honest, a lot of stuff, really cool.
Yeah, and I think the great thing is that so many things are still happening. So we just returned from
Yeah,
Intersolar. I think SNEC in China is ahead of us, and so many things were happening. We have quite a bit of challenges ahead of us at the moment, but
it
it's
is. It
great
is.
simply to see how the sector is, how innovative the sector is, and how many things are happening, right?
Yeah, and this is what I see permanently here also in your rounds. And at the moment, I mean, Intersolar Snack, I think there are the conferences and the exhibitions are getting larger because there is also a much larger demand on specific things. Yeah, I mean, when we visited these big exhibitions, we have never seen, I don't know, robots who cleaned the modules by themselves or something like this. Or we just heard from Wenji the information about what is if you need to build, and she called it mountain PV. So it's also for me, I would say, a new word to say, okay, when you want to build a PV plant in the future with a life expectancy or lifetime for 35 years plus, because this is the way how you evaluate these PV plants today, means automatically you have to concentrate a lot on quality and probably from time to time some specific modules. I mean, we see that from time to time, I would say, compromise here and there. I would say glass thickness, back sheets, and so on. But this is then fine for all the normal installations. But if you go into a desert, if you go onto the coastal area, then it means that you need different kind of modules. And I mean, it shows me that the industry is becoming much more professional. We have also a car for a city or a car for outdoor tours, and I think this is the same here, no?
But what are you seeing now in terms of products? I think so. We have this uh, on the one hand, a great situation where products are as low cost, at least from your side, as low cost as they've never been before. And what's tough, of course, for the manufacturers, because for them they don't see probably the light of the end of the tunnel at the moment. But for you, it's the other way around. What are you seeing also in terms of because companies, of course, try to innovate in order to differentiate, but on the other hand, of course, they have to save on costs because the situation is
Yeah, I
so
mean,
challenging.
the good thing which we have, I mean, it's good and bad, but I think it's fine because at the moment we see that the modules in generally have only 25% of the CapEx of the overall CapEx. Yeah, this means other technologies, applications are getting on the same level of importance. We are not permanently talking about a quarter of a cent lower price for the modules. I think our expectation generally to have a higher quality product, I think it's also becoming at the moment a standard and is normal. But we have to look on transformer, we have to look at batteries, we have to look on interconnections. I mean, we've seen also different kind of cabling systems above the ground, below the ground. So, and I think for every region, we need now to optimize the systems. Yeah. And it's clear that a system who is built in southern part of America or in India looks different than in Germany or the Netherlands, where we pay per square meter much more for the land. Yeah, and I mean, when we, for example, build our PV plant, it is an IRR calculation over the lifetime of 35 years, and this means automatically that we try to develop the best price per kg steel of installed watt, yeah, capacity. And this means automatically that we bring down the angle and try to cover it because in wintertime we don't produce so much anymore. So, and now the but comes. I mean, this was a discussion which we had, I would say, last year. It is somehow still valid, but we heard also here in this round, we have more negative hours. So probably the system looks then again different. We talked about tracker, about east-west systems. Probably that our system in wintertime is more important than in summertime because everyone produces energy in summertime. So, and I think this changes our mindset regularly. So that means this is important that everyone who designs system or invested into PV plants have to follow whatever you and conference and Intersolar, because there is a continuously improvement and a permanently change. So we live in an even more dynamic world, which we have been in the last, I would say, 25 years.
Because I think so when you look back, I think Enerparc has been rather using string inverters more in the past. You've been using fixed systems. So how and as you say, of course, the boundary conditions are changing. How are you seeing that also, especially Germany, where the two of us are based, has never been a country for trackers. But is this changing now, where we see actually now these increasing numbers of negative electricity prices?
You see it, and to be honest, the decision makers are not anymore the engineers. The decision makers at the moment are also partly not anymore the asset owners. It is the value of energy. So finally, the energy traders tell you what they want. Yeah. And if they can produce energy when others cannot, and this is a tracker system also here in the north, fine. If you, for example, even build tracker further north, where you have, I would say, also a lot of snow, then with a normal tracker system, you can keep it up. Then the snow slides down. Then you can produce energy when others cannot. Yeah. So this is mainly the driver, the value of energy during the time when you produce it. This is the driver of the future design of the system. And this can also be that, for example, that even mountain solar, as we heard, I think even if I'm not a fan of all the applications like agri PV and floating and BIPV, but it will be part of the system, because we need to produce the energy when the demand is there. I think our job is now to work a lot on a generation side, to improve it, to find the best grid connection point, to stabilize the grids. We heard from our Spanish colleague here the information about combination hybrid system, pooling, as we say in Germany. So here, I think there's a lot of things. On the other hand, which we have not covered here in this conferences, but I assume a lot of things are happening outside, is the demand side. As we always say, if you have a huge logistic cooling center, the bread inside this whatever cooling system doesn't care if they have -18 or -25. It is a storage system. It's energy storing. And this is probably another step into where we have to speak a bit the language a bit more on the demand side. I think on the generation side, there will be even more things are happening beside tracker and beside, I would say, special modules with a longer lifetime. Battery combination with wind. So, but the decision maker, the driver, will be sooner or later the energy trader. Gives you the information about what is the value of energy, and finally, this is then the answer if you get a banking finance or not.
And you go then as low, as deep as you say, okay, here I need really a module, for example, where I have a higher efficiency because, of course, I have less space. I need a module which is bifacial because the conditions are like this. Okay.
Correct. It is, and the interesting thing is that in the past we permanently talked also, for example, about technical availability, that the system is up and running. But this is also not so important anymore. It will also change. I mean, you only need to ensure that you produce your energy when the trader or when the market needs it. And it can be, for example, we have our own service team for medium and high voltage. We always told our guys, you never touch the transformer station or substation in summertime. Now I would say, no, it's fine, because if everyone produces energy in summertime, then you can do the refurbishment or rectification or the maintenance work on the substation, but you should not do it in wintertime. So this is what I say, the perspective is changing dramatically at the moment. And everything which we heard now here, and again, quality AI applications, super interesting, but this means also you need guidance. And one of, I mean, the conference is one of the guidance, but you always need also the guidance on the other side.
Okay. And so, but it also means for companies, that it's more and more demanding and more challenging. You need more resources and more experts, right? So I think in the past we had also a lot of rather small developers, especially in Europe. I think they cannot handle such things anymore. Or so I think there will
the
be
technical requirement, as I mentioned in my keynote, is also important. I mean, a normal project developer, a greenfield developer, is probably a 1 or 2 or 3-man show. But now you get probably a list of questions of your grid operator and say, okay, what kind of battery you want to add? What is the noise emission of the battery, and so on. So there are 100 things which I mean, you can ask ChatGPT or others, but finally you need the information. And this means, as I mentioned before, the interaction between the future asset owner and the developer and the engineer is becoming much closer. And you have to ask also the investor, what do you want with this plant? Do you want to sell the plant after COD again after 2 years? Do you want to bundle it? Want to refinance the equity? Do you want to generate energy or whatever? And the engineering solution looks different for each application.
And when we look at maybe business opportunities and sort of new frontiers, okay, this whole okay, with all these negative electricity prices, with lower capture prices, I think that's actually where everyone has to look at it, and there are so many different ancillary services and frequency regulation services, but at the moment it's pretty limited what's available, right? And if there's one thing, everyone jumps on that, and that's.
But don't underestimate the other side of the balancing system. We are the generator. We permanently speak, okay, we need only battery. Oh, yeah. But on the other hand, there is a lot of things going on, and this is whatever small storage behind the meter. Probably also energy management system for a cooling logistics center. And if there is a company who has 20 or 25 of these cooling systems, then it's a demand. We speak not about only megawatt hour, gigawatt hour, even terawatt hours. Yeah, and if they understand that they can reduce their costs by managing their cooling system, perfect. Then automatically, and to be honest, what I always say, negative pricing at the moment is not nice, but it shows that the system works. Yeah, because if we produce too much energy, then the energy prices goes down. Yeah, but then we need the other side, the demand side, which needs to be managed. On the other hand, don't underestimate it. At the moment, for example, when we as asset owners see negative prices, I mean, there is no retroactive changes till today in Germany, and we don't see it, and a few other countries as well. So I think Europe is quite safe. We have seen it in Spain a few years ago, but even they recognized this was not a good idea. So from this point of view, trust is everything, and I feel comfortable. And if you then see what's going on in terms of battery systems, yeah, or even this e-pooling system, this is also a game changer. And if you probably look at, I mean, you can check it on our Aurora. They just sent out a analysis what happens with the negative prices in the next 4, 5, 10 years, and you see that the peak is reached, and it will go down. So I'm pretty sure, and I'm comfortable with this, and I'm confident with this, that in 4 or 5 years we don't see negative pricing anymore. We will see it, but only 15 minutes, pop, and then it goes back, or 20 minutes. And then the demand side will react, or the battery is there. So at the moment, we have to work hard. We have to utilize our grid connection points. We have to convince Spanish governments, Dutch governments, and India is also in the direction 24 hours energy supply. But on the other hand, I feel in the next few years, the system, and again, we are very fast. Our industry is super dynamic. We've seen it here in the conference. And I'm very confident that this issue is solved sooner than later.
If we go one level higher and look at policy, because of course, I think on the one hand, we are where we are because infrastructure is lagging behind. The grids are not built out as they should be. But also it's really about politicians that they have not done their job, because they've not been trusting in us to go so quick. So what are we seeing here? We are, of course, seeing also a lot of populists, very conservative people coming into power, and rather trying to turn the wheel back, although it doesn't make sense, but it's rather an ideologic thing.
Yeah, it is. And this is what we have to manage. And let's take two examples. US wind, yeah, it's more or less dead. And let's be also clear, large scale utility scale in the Netherlands with a new government, it's also nearly dead. I mean, they do not say it's dead, but they put additional layers inside, which you need as permits or whatever that whatever the community needs to be participate and so on. So and this is a challenge. Yeah, this is a challenge, and I don't see that this will change. I only see, and this is, for example, let's take a good example. Let's take India as a good example. The market is going ahead, is very fast. The development is going really fast. I mean, they have some other issues in terms of land ownership and so on, but the interconnection and the discussion with not every state, but let's speak Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. So there is a huge development going on and super speedy. It's really interesting. It's really nice. And to be honest, this is not driven by the people who want to save the world. It's because it's cheap. It's cheaper and safer. So, and this is what we see at the moment in India, or you see it in Germany. There was, even if we have now a complete conservative government, in the coalition contract, there was no debate about renewables. For sure, there is a bit of gas here and nuclear. Everyone is, let's say, talking about it. But it's also, there are also some good signs in the market at the moment. And I think it is becoming a new normal, a new standard.
Okay. So you're not worried at all?
I'm worried, but always, but I would say not at all, because we have to debottleneck a lot of things. Yeah. So the industry is not so standardized now like the fossil industry, but they are about 200 years old or even older. But we are on the way. Yeah. And I think this is good. Yeah. And I feel comfortable that the industry is getting stronger and much more power. And this has an impact on political decisions. Yeah. And let's see what happens with country XYZ who don't want to have renewables anymore. In a few years, probably there's a big wake-up call. So
But
I think there are challenges. We have to manage it. I see it more from the technical point of view. I see it really challenging now to speak the language of the high voltage grid operator, 110 kV, 380 kV, or others. I think one guy mentioned the battery is not standardized right now, so you cannot really order it like a module. You have to design it, you have to discuss it very openly, you have to build up the infrastructure around, you have to integrate whatever, the fire brigade and whatever. So it is not standard right now, and we will see issues coming up, and we have to implement our lessons learned. And this is, I would say, also part of these conferences to make much more exchange. And I think this is the good thing on this.
maybe what about your peers, actually? So I think a lot of developers are now big utilities, energy companies, but we're seeing especially also those companies now kind of focusing again a little bit more to their traditional business, and at least they're talking also about that, and some are doing that. Might that turn into a problem, actually, that such companies who have been strong both on the lobbying front and also in terms of investment and pushing the solar and the wind segment, actually somewhat pulling back? Or is this just even if that happens, would that mean just an opportunity for others?
Yeah, I think so. It is a traditional up and down in the market. It's like this, and you see it in investment markets or other real estate market. If there is not the IRR as expected, then automatically a lot of people shifted their money and bring it into, I don't know, shares, or I don't know, and then automatically it's also I would say a topic where we can jump in. So I think the cowboys are going in and out. Also, the big utilities are going in and out very often. Strategic change, new CEO. And this is the opportunity of players like us. But on the other hand, I think the PV plants getting larger. We are moving into much higher voltages, on the grid connection line. The PV plant is not only the PV plant anymore, it's an infrastructure. You need to build substation, you need to build medium or even high voltage connection lines. You need to think about combination, battery, wind, solar. So I think this is the new development. And for this, the big utilities are important, or the big grid operators, because these are investments which companies like us cannot manage.
Okay, so maybe a final question. So for you as an international developer, IPP, what are the 3 topics to watch out for in the next coming month?
So I mean, we heard about AI. I think in the last few years we've seen a lot of buzzwords. I cannot hear the word preventive maintenance anymore. And drones. So, but it is part of it. But this was really buzzwords in the beginning. Now it's there. And I think we see now also autonomous drones, small, who are sitting on an O&M container, flying by themselves, and they see, oh, there's a leaf, it's not a hotspot. Then they get the weather information, wait if the wind is coming, and they fly again, and then they give the information there was a hotspot or not. No? So from this point of view, I think everything which makes our life as an operational team easier is essential and important, and this is really hot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen that also new technologies have their issues. UV issues, LID issues. So I think we need to ensure also that the quality control stays. This is for us the big driver, especially when we speak about lifetime of 35 years or even more. Even if you can repower the module, but at first it's an investment with a standardized bank, and you need to ensure that the quality is right. So I think this is for me number 2. So AI, everything on quality is still number 1. And number 3 is everything on storage, and I would say / energy management / integration into the system. And we heard it here. It is not standardized right now. It's becoming standardized, but we still, when we build our battery systems in the field, we still see, okay, so the infrastructure is not right. We should probably do a concrete foundation if we want to change a small module inside a container. Or when we speak about that the weight is already, or that the density, the energy density and the weight is finally so large already that you can only use 20-foot container and not 40-foot container anymore. That you need a different crane or other systems. So I think it's really tough. So, but these are the 3 points for me interesting: AI, quality, and everything storage integration.
Okay, and then we fix policy and everything's fine.
Yeah, this has to, this is, I mean, this is Solar Power Europe and all the associations. We need them all. They have a lot of things to do.
Okay, super. Thank you so much, Stefan.
Was a pleasure.
Great.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Okay, cool.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, just 2, 3 slides. So once again, thanks to everyone supporting this event. Yeah, that's it. Thanks again. Once again, I think we cannot say it often enough. Thanks again to the sponsors. Then also, I would like to mention, next slide, please. Our latest report. We have recently come up, as we've learned technology is important. We recently published during Intersolar our latest report on TOPCon, HJT, and back contact. So if you want to have a good overview, I think that's a nice one, free for download on our website. If you want to have regular updates, actually, I suggest you sign up for our daily newsletter, which is also for free. And on top, we've also broken down all these news down to different topics. Next slide, please. And if you are on LinkedIn and sign up to our newsletters, you can get weekly an update on markets, one on technologies, one on M&A, so that it's easier to digest in terms of topics. That's it. And our next event will be in about a month. We will basically have a review event, 2 days, June 24, 26, where we will have leading companies that have been presenting interesting new products during Smarter E Intersolar Europe and at SNEC. That will be then over also taking place beginning of June. And we hope to see you there again. Once again to everyone for participating, contributing, and have a nice day or evening. Bye-bye.